Micah Parsons wants out of Dallas, and it's hard to blame him. Parsons officially requested a trade on August 1st, and he did report to training camp, but it's been a hold-in. He didn't really hold back when he did request a trade. He said straight up that he no longer wants to be in Dallas, and how he's been held to closed-door contract negotiations without his agent even present. Parsons also brought up how he doesn't want shots taken at him anymore about how he got injured while playing for the Cowboys, the fans, and of course his teammates. He's talking about when, for whatever reason, Jerry Jones took a shot at him, saying how if the Cowboys did extend Parsons, it doesn't mean they'll have him because he missed 6 games last year. Fact check, he only missed 4, and he's been healthy for the rest of his career. Jerry also made a bizarre comment about how someone could get hit by a car and contracts are really long. It's just so weird. He also brought up how the Cowboys signed Dak Prescott to be the richest player in the league, and then he missed 2/3 of the year. JJ Watt ended up quote tweeting that and said, "Anytime you can publicly take a dig at your star quarterback and your star pass rusher simultaneously right before the season begins, you just gotta take it." Well, Parsons retweeted it and gave us a pretty good idea that he was probably pissed off. It's a complicated situation. Parsons is going to make $21.3 million on his 5th-year option this season, but the Cowboys could theoretically hold him through 2028 with the franchise tag, although that would be very expensive towards the end. Parsons had to wait last offseason for the Cowboys to lock up Dak Prescott and CeeDee Lamb, and then was supposed to get his turn, but it's taking a while, and the price tag has potentially gone up. There have been some new guys signed. Myles Garrett is the main one that really does stick out because he had a blow up with the Browns and even requested a trade. He did still re-sign with the Browns on a 4-year, $160 million deal. Money can fix a lot of issues, and the Cowboys definitely know that. TJ Watt got a $123 million deal, making him the highest paid non-quarterback in the league, and Max Crosby signed a 3-year, $106.5 million extension. There have been a lot of different times in recent memory with the Cowboys having to pay their stars, and they eventually have, just often last minute. Dak Prescott has been through the process twice. CeeDee Lamb was last year too. There was Ezekiel Elliott who had the big holdout, and even Zach Martin has been through it. This isn't new territory for the Cowboys, but a trade request is very new. This hasn't actually happened, and it makes it feel like it's much more of an extreme situation. I really do feel like the Cowboys have really screwed this one up, and specifically by that, I mean Jerry Jones. This whole thing seems like a completely avoidable situation where now Micah Parsons is upset with the organization, and who could blame him? Some of the things that Jerry has said about Micah are kind of insane. Painting him out as this guy who misses time or could get injured in the future when that has just not been his track record at all in the NFL is just bizarre, and almost finding a way to try to soften the blow if they don't sign him to the fan base. None of it quite makes sense, and Micah's a guy that is a top player at his position in the league and somebody any team would want on their team and probably pay a ton of money for, and it's surprising the whole way Dallas has kind of done this. They haven't been good at the past of actually signing these guys. I remember the Ezekiel Elliott was one of the first of its time. It was super messy, and then finally Jerry Jones caved, and that's the big thing here. They could easily cave tomorrow. They could cave the day before week 1, and I wouldn't be surprised at all. This is a guy that has been on a rookie contract, hasn't even played yet past that rookie contract. You need to keep Micah Parsons around no matter what that takes. It is worrisome that he has requested a trade because it's not like other trade requests that we've seen in the past. I think of Brandon Ayuk, I think of Myles Garrett, I think of Lamar Jackson. The language in this trade request was very harsh, very bad, and made it sound very bad for the Cowboys if they want to keep Micah around. But money always talks. If they want to fix it, money can do the trick, and Micah deserves it. Micah Parsons was drafted by the Cowboys back in 2021, 12th overall. He only had one great season at Penn State before going pro. That is mostly because he opted out of the 2020 season due to COVID-19. But the year before, as a sophomore, he was an absolute menace. Parsons had 109 tackles, 5 sacks, 4 forced fumbles, and 5 passes defended. He was a consensus All-American and the Big Ten linebacker of the year. It was an impressive step up from his true freshman year when he had 82 tackles, 1.5 sacks, and 2 forced forced fumbles. The reality is, Parsons was pretty much always expected to be an absolute stud at Penn State. After all, he was a 5-star recruit and the number 5 player in the 2018 class. He didn't disappoint, and to this point, he's dominated at every possible level, and it hasn't even mattered the position. It took him literally no time at all to find his footing in the NFL, and it actually came at defensive end. See, Parsons played defensive end in high school at Harrisburg in Pennsylvania. The Cowboys moved him back to DN because DeMarcus Lawrence broke his foot, and it's safe to say it's kind of worked out for everyone. Parsons didn't look like a rookie in the slightest. He had 84 tackles, 13 sacks, 20 tackles for loss, 3 forced fumbles, and 4 passes defended. He was the unanimous Defensive Rookie of the Year, a first-team All-Pro, and he made his first of 4 straight Pro Bowls. He was the NFC Defensive Player of the Week in Week 8, and he had a stretch of at least 1 sack in 6 straight games. He was incredible and was ranked 16th on the NFL Top 100 Players of 2022. The question then became whether or not he could keep it up and be a consistent All-Pro guy, and he's done just that. In 2022, he had 65 tackles, 13.5 sacks, 15.5 tackles for loss, 4 forced fumbles, 3 fumble recoveries, and 3 passes defended. Parsons was the Week 5 NFC Defensive Player of the Week and had 6 games with 2 sacks. He was a first-team All-Pro again and moved up to 9th in the NFL Top 100 Players of 2023. It's pretty safe to say that he proved he could play at a high level again, and did again in 2023 too. He was a second-team All-Pro, the NFC Defensive Player of the Week in Week 2, and was ranked 17th on the NFL Top 100 Players of 2024. He had 64 tackles, 14 sacks, 18 tackles for loss, a forced fumble, a fumble recovery, and 2 passes defended. The Cowboys picked up his 5th-year option after the season. He had stayed healthy up to that point every single year. Then last season, that changed a little bit. He missed 4 games with a high ankle sprain, but when he was on the field, he still put up good numbers: 43 tackles, 12 sacks, 2 forced fumbles, and a pass defended. Looking back at what Micah Parsons has accomplished with the Cowboys, it's almost shocking that they didn't try to already get this thing through. And they've known for a while that this was coming up. Last year, they had the Dak Prescott extension, they had the CeeDee Lamb extension, they were busy. But when you have a guy that's the caliber of a player that Micah Parsons is, that needs to be your number 1 priority. As soon as his past season ended, that needed to be the number 1 priority. And who's saying it was or was not? I have no idea. But the way it's gone about has been very bad, and Micah Parsons is too good of a player for that to happen to. This guy has been an absolute wrecking ball since he got to the NFL. I'm a huge Washington fan. This guy is horrible to game plan against. He's horrible to deal with on a week-to-week basis, especially when you have to see him twice throughout the season. Micah Parsons is just such a good player, and that's been evident since the first time he stepped on the field as a rookie. For a guy to not slow down at all at such a physical position is so incredible, and really a true testament to how good he is. What's great now is I would love to see him not in the NFC East. Of course, a lot of the jokes are, well, he's going to go to Washington because he loves Dan Quinn. He said the one time, maybe he takes me with him. He's also talked in the past about how much he'd love to play with Abdul Carter, who of course went to Penn State where Micah went. I would bet there's probably a 0% chance that Dallas would ever trade him to Washington or New York, but you never know what could happen down the line. He loves Dan Quinn. Maybe he does want to actually play with Abdul Carter, and Micah's going to have those opportunities if he isn't signing a huge long-term contract in Dallas that he absolutely does deserve. I don't even know if the Cowboys are willing to trade him. If they are, I imagine that their phones are going to be ringing non-stop because there are probably a ton of teams that would like to have him. Any contender that thinks they can pay him, he's the perfect fit. And he's so young that he's perfect to have on any defense. It just makes too much sense to have a guy like Micah Parsons. Everybody in the league is going to want him if he's available for the most part. And it's just a true testament to this Jerry Jones era of football where we keep seeing them fall short. And here we are again. Who's to say Micah Parsons doesn't sign back with Dallas? It's very, very possible he gets that extension soon. But for right now, it doesn't look good. Thanks so much for watching the video. We are so amped up for football to finally be back, whether that's college, NFL, anything. We are just so pumped for it to be back. We're going to have you guys covered with content all season long. Make sure you subscribe already if you don't, and follow us on our other social medias at JDProdNFL. You can follow my personal social medias at Didlake, Diidlake. Stay up to date with us all season long, and let's go. Football is back. We are finally here.